Hello and welcome to the Learn How to See Better podcast, the only podcast out there known to actually improve your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I'm glad you've joined me here today. I can't wait to share some great information with you about how to improve your health, wealth, and relationships. So let's get right down to it, shall we? Hey everyone, it's Drew. I wanted to take a quick moment to share something that I learned in the last few days that was pretty powerful, and it's all part of this thing right here that everyone refers to as mindset. And what it's really all about is having to be able to, or having to develop the ability to interpret our facts and to put them in the proper frame of reference. Because what we'll find is that everyone goes through ups, downs, trials, tribulations, peaks, valleys, setbacks, setups for comebacks, you name it, right? And one thing that's important to note is the simple fact that it's not so much your facts, but your focus on your facts that really determine how things turn out in your life, what actually gets manifested, right? They say that most of life has to do with attitude. 90% is not what happens to you, but how you react to it, right? And I heard this analogy given by someone I'll give credit to in the end, but I'm trying to explain it first so you can focus on the message rather than the messenger. And I'm going to start with some basic art graphics here. This is a stick figure representing you and me. And above that person's head, we'll draw the word fact, F-A-C-T, right? So I'll do this right along with you. Draw it out. There's fact. Okay? So what's important is not necessarily the facts that take place in someone's world, but the actual focus on those facts, right? So we can write here, focus. Forgive me, I'm not an artiste, but the way that we focus on those facts is what dictates what happens in our head, okay? And follow along with me here because I'm going to make sense of this as quickly as I can and then drive home some of the points and examples on this later on. Well, if you have a positive focus in your mind that comes from that thought or that fact, that's going to show up as a belief. And that belief is going to be positive or negative, right? So there's a little plus sign, there's a minus sign, and these both tie to beliefs, okay? What we think in our head, what we believe in our world is good or bad. So the way we focus on a particular fact, if it's a positive focus or positive thoughts around how we think about a fact, it's going to show up as faith, right? You believe in something positive. I think I can. I know I can. I believe I can, right? That focus on a given set of data. You're going to get a good vibe in your mind and say, yes, this is something I'm looking forward to. It hasn't happened yet. It's data. It's something that I'm aspiring towards, but I believe it can happen, okay? That's going to show up as faith. And on the other side of the coin, it will show up as doubt if you have a negative focus on that fact. See that? Pretty straightforward. Well, most of you, if you're even tuning into this, probably have an interest in personal development or mindset training or maximizing your potential or constant and never-ending improvement. So you get it. Thoughts are things. And what you'll find is that what happens in your head and the energy that you channel into that, what we focus on expands. What happens in the head is going to migrate to your heart, right? So now you're talking about feelings because, thoughts drive feelings, feelings drive actions. You can see where this is going, but let's talk about it a little bit differently in the terms here, positive and negative. So when you look at what shows up in the heart, you're going to have that positive or negative belief translate into a positive or a negative feeling. So let's draw a little heart on our character here, right? What starts in the head makes its way to the heart. And if it's a positive feeling, it's kind of like what you feel in your gut, in your heart, what your innards, your internal, your sixth sense is telling you. And if it's a positive thing, that feeling, that butterflies in your stomach, like when you go on that first date or right before you propose to the person of your dreams, or you do some other exciting thing in life, like bring new life into the world, that positive, nervous feeling is anticipation. That's an excitement, something great that you know is coming soon. But on the other side of the coin, if it's something that you're dreading, right, a negative outcome from something you've been focusing on and you've had doubt about, it will be negative. and it's going to show up as anxiety in your heart. You're going to have that feeling of stress, not feeling good. No bueno, no bueno. And it just continues to go on from here. So since thoughts are things, and thoughts are what drive your feelings, and feelings are what drive your actions, what's next? Well, think about it for a second. If you have something that you're anticipating, right? You're starting a new challenge. You're getting going with a new program that you know is going to make a powerful impact in your life. That positive faith is going to translate into anticipation. Is going to show up in your hands as power that you take and manifest in the world. So let's write that down. Power. And also think about something that you're very anxious about. You're nervous to, do something to represent who you really are because you're worried what the world might think. You might be afraid to say something because you have doubts about certain facts or maybe how they're perceived. So that shows up in your heart as anxiety and shows up in your hand as paralysis, right? And you will find different ways to get stuck not doing the things that you want to do. So once you develop a strong understanding of this and a respect for the simple fact that it's, pun intended, not the facts that matter, but your focus on them, that really drives the bus. If you have faith and positive beliefs about a given set of facts that you focused on, it'll show up in your heart as anticipation and show up in your hand as powerful. And that's powerful to think of. And conversely, if you just have that, if you carry around that negative stinking thinking of doubt, it's going to haunt you and in the end paralyze you because of all the anxiety that builds, these stress-related illnesses that stop people from achieving their true potential in life. So I wanted to share that. Once taught, twice learned is the idea, and I figured I'd be able to articulate it better after making an attempt to share that with you. I received this information just about a week ago at a great event in Nashville, Tennessee called Funnel Hacking Live 2019. And the speaker's name was Myron Golden. And he gave an excellent example of how our focus on the facts in our life will manifest in your life as either power or paralysis. So take that nugget of wisdom and translate it into how it's affected you in your own life so far and how you can channel that energy into the future to reach your maximum potential. So again, this is Drew Davis, just sharing a little nugget of wisdom from the wisdom that I've received and want to pass on to all of you. Thanks. Have a good day.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.